Hi, this is Dana, and on this channel I speak about Gnostic spirituality. In this video, God has guided me to talk about a topic which I'm reluctant to approach. This is why I'm so hesitant, because I am reluctant about many topics, but this one in particular, because this is a situation challenging enough, and I'm always cautious and reluctant to give advice, particularly like this, when I do not know who exactly is listening and who will take my advice and maybe apply it in the wrong way, and it will do more harm to them. I'm strong believer in the fact that when you give advice, you should investigate thoroughly the situation, because otherwise people might jump to conclusions and apply in the wrong way the advice you gave, and they can end up in really bad situations. So this is why I'm very reluctant about this topic in particular, because it can bring a lot of harm onto you if you don't do it the right way, and particularly if you don't have divine guidance. So it's a topic in which essentially you just go back and forth on a situation with your decisions, and it means you have to be at a certain level to be able to manage your energy properly, so you can cut cords and you will see as I go along. But I just want to emphasize this from the beginning, that I'm very uneasy with the topic today, but God insists on me doing this, so I'm doing it. Yeah. So the topic is how you can help the dear ones who do not fight. Okay. Um, of course, all of us have dear ones who don't fight. We all do. Especially older generations. I don't know, parents, grandparents, or whatever. Um, it's a very sensitive topic, because if you can help them, it's true. But if you don't do it properly, they can pull you back in past timelines. They can bring darkness onto you, even if they don't do it consciously. Yeah. So you really have to work with the divine realm very close in order to make sure that while you do help them, you still advance with your elevation and your own spiritual fighting. Yeah. Now, let's say, how you can help them. Now, of course, breaking bondage. I already said this. 3D is based on generational curses. So for sure, if you break your bondage, most of it comes from your family, for example. Yeah. If it's not about your family and the dear one that you want to help, it's your lover or whoever, still it's a common bondage which brought you together. I already explained in the previous video, we are living in ancient timelines being activated, and it's all a deception. Even when you meet someone and you fall madly in love, it's all a deception. It's a bondage created. You both of you carry certain identities which in past lifetimes, different incarnations, uh, lived a love story. And then once you got this embodiment activated upon you and the two of you meet, then you feel like you fell madly in love, but it's actually a bondage from past which brought you together and which makes you feel this way. And you come together for the purpose of breaking that bondage. Now, of course, if you break the bondage and you finish the work, the spiritual work, and you want to stay together and work together, or I don't know, be together, that's a different story. That's a choice you can make. But the purpose of you coming together is to break a bondage. Yeah. So, still breaking bondage, even if you're not talking about family, but you're talking about lovers, still, if you break bondage on your own, and you succeed to break the bondage for both of you, you already helped that individual. You carried your spiritual fight, uh, but you carried the spiritual fight which he was supposed to carry as well. So you broke the bondage, then you already helped the individual. Yeah, because the darkness is being exposed. So what it means is he's still gonna have to do his own spiritual fighting and healing, but because you broke the bondage, he's gonna be able to see the darkness, he's gonna be able to understand at some point. Yeah, so you help them. I'll give you one example. I was doing my spiritual fighting and breaking bondage, and at some, of course, I broke bondage from my adoptive father, and at some point a bondage which was created on me was basically a generational curse casted upon my father's father, my grandfather from father line. Yeah, so I had to break that bondage as well. So this way I helped him, my father, who normally was supposed to do that spiritual fighting, but he didn't. So I broke that bondage. So it's all interconnected. This is what I mean. You doing your spiritual fighting, automatically you will get to the point of helping the dear ones, because you share bondage, especially when we talk about generational curses. Yeah, so breaking bondage will help them get free from darkness, and then they will see what's the bondage created, and they will be more able to do their own healing and fighting. Yeah, it's the darkness is weighting down or on all of you. When I succeeded to do this bondage breaking, my adoptive father was healed from a physical disease. So because of this, this will lead to healing for both of you. Yeah. So I say it again, when I broke certain bondage on my father's father, which obviously was perpetuated through generations on my father and on me, then my father healed physically from a heart condition, which took him to heart surgery in previous years. And doctors said that it's impossible to heal. It's just incurable. So I am not kidding you. This is very serious. So this is a great help you can give, obviously. Then another thing is that from time to time, according to divine guidance, you can ask for beneficity which you received and earned through your spiritual fighting to be transferred to him or to her, to help with a specific thing. You write an astral letter in which you ask the karmic board and the divine realm, because of my good deeds or my spiritual fighting or whatever, um, I receive this beneficity, and I ask you please to transfer beneficity to my father, for example, to heal this disease, or to get through this spiritual attack, or to see the divine truth, or to whatever you want to achieve, to create in his life, whatever kind of help you. So you have to specify what kind of help you want to give. Yeah, it's not just at large. You can end the astral letter by saying, and whatever else the divine realm considers to be for the highest good of the individual that you want to help. Yeah, but anyhow, you can transfer some of your beneficity. Keep in mind, the divine realm will not transfer more beneficity than you can afford. So if you earned, let's say, 10 points, the first concern from the divine realm is how much beneficity you need in order for you to move forward. Yeah, and let's say you need 6 points to move forward. then they will only transfer what is left, namely the 4 points. Yeah, because the divine realm helps first those who do the spiritual fighting along with God. Yeah, it's more important to keep you alive than to transfer all your beneficity and then you fall in front of spiritual attacks. Yeah. Okay, so you can transfer beneficity, you can break bondage. That's two. Yeah. Then another one is they must do redemption. Yeah. All the dear ones, one way or another, particularly if you talk about family, they wronged you in one way or another, consciously or unconsciously. Even refusing to fight, that is wrong done to you because they transfer to you all their karma. This is not acceptable. I'm not even going into the discussion of those parents who sacrifice consciously their children in order to transfer karma. Yeah. So there's many ways in which dear ones wronged you and deprived you of your rights, your divine rights, in many, many, many ways. And I'm not going to get into that discussion now. But there are many, many ways in which they are at fault. And you, unfortunately, have to pay the price for whatever they refused to do or whatever they did. Yeah. Now, for this, they have to do redemption. Yeah. And they have to do redemption towards you. And if they consciously pursued darkness, they have to do redemption towards others as well. Now, how can you help them when they refuse to do redemption? Because many refuse to do redemption. One way in which you can help, redemption is very important. So if you want to help your dear ones, getting them to do redemption is the highest help you can give them. Why? Because they get divine grace in exchange for redemption. And this is extremely the highest form of healing. Yeah. But sometimes they refuse. Yeah, because they don't accept I'm not gonna get into this why. Each has different reason why. Now, how can you help them with this? You can ask for their help. If you assume the role of doing the spiritual family, the spiritual fighting for your family, then you can ask for their help. Because the help they give to you, it will be considered redemption. So you have this conscious discussion in astral letter with the divine realm, in which you say, I will ask for his help. I ask the divine realm to consider this as redemption and reward him with divine grace. The most common way of help, especially for those who do not do spiritual fighting, yeah, is to give you money. Yeah. So paying, literally, if you go to any monastery, all monks will tell you that if you are in a bad situation, you should give money to charity. This is why you have all these big figures and rich people donating to charities large amounts, because they need divine grace, they need help. Yeah. So asking them for help, and if they accept to help you, this will be considered redemption. Yeah. Now you have to be cautious, because depending on where they stand on acknowledging all of this topic of spirituality and the wrong they have done, even the money they give you, if they don't give you the money with wholeheartedly, then those are money which come with darkness. Because it's the darkness which pushes them to refuse to do redemption, is the darkness which might push them to give you the money, but to give you the money, reluctant and not acknowledging your efforts to clear karma for them, and so on and so forth. And those are money which you have to ask divine guidance how you spend those money. Because, for example, you cannot buy food with those money. Because that dark entity which pushes them to not acknowledge all of these, it's attached to those money. And if you buy food with those money, the food will be tampered with, namely the entity is attached to them. It's that this is why I was reluctant to talk about this topic in the beginning, because it's very sensitive and there are a lot of nuances, and it's hard to clarify all this in a video, and I'm not sure that people will understand. Because if you get money from somebody who doesn't denies literally your spiritual fighting and the help they receive through you, um, and the fact that you're breaking generational curse which they were supposed to break, those money, if you don't ask guidance, those money can pull you back through the darkness attached to them. So you must ask the divine realm if the money you receive, or if they give you food. The food is extremely important in all of these darkness attachments. You must always ask if you should eat or not, because it's impregnated with the thoughts and the darkness that individual carries. So it's literally very important. If that individual is being claimed by darkness, the food he gives you, you cannot eat, because it has the dark energy of the entity. It's very challenging, and I tell you from experience, because my father, my adoptive father, used to work in Intel. So he, one way or another, is being claimed by all of these creeps who do this harm on me. So I had many circumstances in which I couldn't use the help he gave me, either food or money or whatever, in the way he intended it, or I would have wished. But the divine guidance said, no, don't touch that. Yeah, so it's really important. I am really cautious, and I'm underlining this because I don't want to feel guilty for you falling into a trap from darkness and getting into trouble because you just want to help someone. Yeah, yeah. I hope this video will be clear, and if you have questions, please ask. In any case, ask for divine guidance, please, because it's really sensitive topic, and you must make sure that you do not take upon yourself something that you cannot carry. You must always have divine guidance. At the other end of the spectrum, of course, if you don't help the dear ones and they refuse to do the spiritual fighting, then you will have to cut connections with them, simply because they carry darkness and you will not be able to evolve and to move forward. You're going to be stuck in a rut, carrying the same fight over and over and over again, because every time the darkness claims you through them. So it's very complicated. It's very complicated, but indeed, God is right. You can help dear ones, and I have done this with my adoptive family, but also with other individuals, in circumstances in which I considered that God wants me to do this. I also had certain saints in the divine realm which asked me specifically for individuals they protect, to give them help, and I did, because those were my saints with which I have a long journey back. So to the extent that was possible for me, of course, and always asking divine guidance if I can do that, and how it's going to affect me, and so on. Yeah. I'm gonna stop here. I'm not gonna go more into details. You can help people that are dear to you with your spiritual fighting, but you must be very cautious how you do it, and you clearly have to have divine guidance, because it's not always easy to make the decision. And you can go back and forth. I did go back and forth. There were times in which I completely cut connection with my adoptive family because they were possessed by very dark forces sent by these creeps on them. They were hoping that they will succeed in stopping me from doing my spiritual fighting because they cast this darkness on my parents, my adoptive parents. So I cut connections with them completely. And at some point, God has guided me that it's okay for me to contact them again, to talk to them again, and even guided me to go ask for help from them, because this is gonna mount up into an act of redemption by them for the harm they brought into my life. Yeah. So you go back and forth. It's not linear, especially for those who do not do spiritual fighting. Yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna stop here. This is basically what I wanted to say. Um, and this is why I said in the beginning, when you decide to help a dear one, you must make sure that first you master the ability to disconnect, because if you start helping them, they will the darkness will be even more aggressive through them, because they don't fight, and because the darkness doesn't want them to receive help, and you're gonna have to be able to disconnect from them and cut them off. Even if later on you're gonna come back to them, but for temporary time, you need to be able to do this. This is not easy to do. So this is why I emphasized it's not that you can do this at any time any point in time. You must ask divine guidance and help so you can actually do this. And yeah, of course, later on, I for example, in my case, I was guided to come back and talk to them, and I did. But then you have to always be able to cut off, because darkness will keep playing with them, and if they don't do the spiritual fighting, at some point you will elevate too high and they will drag you too much behind. Yeah. Anyhow, I will stop here. That's enough. I just want to warn you that this is a very sensitive topic, and you must always ask guidance. But indeed, you can help them, and it's a very important help. I tell you that, for example, I succeeded, I succeeded to get a physical healing on my adoptive father, and also a soul healing on his father. And I worked with my adoptive father to do that. He saw it himself. It was done through him. And that soul trauma was keeping his father uh, trapped here and used in necromancy in attacks against me and him. So that was a big success because he got free and ascended and is with God now. Yeah, so that was huge success. So of course you will be much more successful in breaking generational curses if you work with your family. But if they don't work, there will be times in which you must completely cut off the connection. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna stop here now.